Hey guys, it's your host Dave Gold. Welcome back to the Dave Gold Evolve podcast, where I interview coaches and leaders in the spiritual and business and dating world so we can learn how, as men, we can improve our business and dating lives and completely evolve. Our guest today is Roksana Brzostek, and Roksana helps women find true confidence using love and intuition. So this is going to be a very interesting one. Now, I thought it would be fascinating to bring her on and learn from her about what women really want from men today. But before we get into that, where are you in the world today, Roksana?
Hi, I'm in Glastonbury, UK.
Beautiful. And can you tell us a little bit more about you and how you got into this beautiful coaching journey?
Mhm. Um, so I've always knew that I'm meant to be helping people. I just wasn't sure how, and I am my own spiritual journey kind of led me to really dig deep into myself and learn a lot about myself and learn a lot about spirituality. I lived 5 years at an ashram, and I had a really disciplined life. Um, so I learned like the main pillars of a successful life and of a happy life, right? So now with that knowledge and with that background, I can show that to others. And I've received a lot of coaching myself. I've had mentors and coaches, and still do. So yeah, that kind of that inspired me to be a coach myself. I've been doing lots of readings and healing and more like the woo spiritual stuff, but I find that I need to become more practical and pragmatic so I can reach the people who need that spirituality, but to translate it into like everyday terms so that it's accessible.
Where are you from originally, Roxana?
From Poland.
From Poland? Where in Poland?
um, Close to Warsaw.
Amazing. I've have a lot of experiences in Poland, some really positive ones. And I really want to get back there as soon as possible. Now, when you were growing up in Poland, did you always have this kind of um, connection to spirituality? And if not, what kind of led you down this path to go to the ashram in India?
I think I had a spiritual awakening or a kind of mental breakdown
Mm.
where everything just basically my life just fell apart. I finished my studies at university, and just everything just started going wrong. I've kind of lost everything and like really depressed, really. um yeah, it was a very dark and heavy time for like probably a year or two, maybe three. And that led me to go to India. I went to India, and I met my spiritual master there, and I met also my partner in the ashram, who he was running an ashram in Bulgaria. So then for 5 years I was with him, and together we ran the ashram project. We were receiving people and caring for the for their well-being, and also keeping up the routine of the ashram. So that was really powerful.
Amazing. I also had a difficult time in university. So my parents were getting divorced, and it led me to a dark place, but it forced me to, really reconsider what am I doing with my life. Um, and can I ask who was your guru or your mentor in India, and what about them did you really
um,
connect with?
so she's the woman known as the hugging saint, Amma Amritananda my mother. So she's known as the hugging saint. So she's hugged I think over 40 million people now. It's really a big number, and she's got all these humanitarian projects, schools, hospitals, women empowerment, all these different areas of human life, and she's really supporting so many people. Obviously not her herself, but the mission is so huge. She has so many followers and supporters that it just gets done, like a lot of beautiful humanitarian work. And what was the second part of the question?
Yeah, what about her were you drawn to, and how did she really change your life?
Okay. It's just the love, just the love that she is, the love that she gives. It's I haven't met anyone like her, in a human form that radiates so much love, and that is so loving and compassionate. Everything, even when she scolds, that's compassionate, that's loving. Sometimes she really gave me like really um discipline. And it was still loving. I saw that behind it was just infinite love. So I think that's the thing. And even though I don't speak her language, and I don't understand what she's saying, there's a translation and everything, but I know that she knows me, she knows my heart, and she knows exactly what's in my heart, and she even knows what I'm thinking, which is really crazy. Like I've just experienced so many times where she just knew exactly what I was thinking, exactly what I was feeling, exactly what I was needing. And so yeah, just that connection, and just this feeling of somebody cares enough for me to lead me to my highest and best self. It's just an amazing feeling. The student teacher, or the disciple guru relationship is very beautiful and very unique. It's one of the most pure and unconditional expressions of love there is.
You said that she was a bit harsh on you at times. So how do we know to maybe even draw a line in the sand, okay, or understand the difference between someone that is being harsh or providing us discipline and it's coming from a place of love, or someone that is being harsh and it's coming from a place of manipulation, or maybe they are trying to take from us?
Mm, I guess you can feel it, but I can feel it, Yeah, I can definitely sense where somebody's just being mean to me,
Mm-hmm.
or if somebody actually cares for me, and you know and tries to show me something or teach me something that is for my growth. And
Mm-hmm.
we all need that discipline, because the ego is um like a bratty child, like it will just try all kinds of things until just to push boundaries. So we need to sometimes be quite strict and harsh with the ego to not let it run wild.
Is there a way in which right now you practice um, reining in your maybe ego or remaining disciplined right now in your life?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I have people in my life that really reflect and give me the full unfiltered truth, which
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate, because sometimes we all have blind spots, right? So I have mentors and I have guides, and I have friends in my life who really see me, and they
Mm-hmm.
just like, look, you, this and that is that, like, and they really tell me the truth. And sometimes, most often, it's not easy to hear. It's very difficult to hear, like where I'm lacking, or where I'm doing things that are disrespectful, or do this or that. And but I really appreciate those reflections, and I feel like we need that. We need those people who tell us the truth, because we ourselves are limited in our perspective. So we need those people to show us. Also, we need people to show us our greatness, because yeah, the way that's how we are created. We are social beings. We are meant to be in a community. We are meant to connect and relate with each other. We're not meant to just be by ourselves.
And when women are reluctant to reach out to you or to actually work with you, what do you think is usually holding them back from letting go and really embracing the opinions and the advice of others?
I guess fear, maybe pride, feeling like I know it already, and there's with that, there is always always a deeper level of truth. So even if you know something, if you hear it again from someone else, it will going deeper, and there will be a deeper realization and a deeper understanding of that truth. So it, I think it's very important to be humble on this journey, because we never know everything, and there is always more to learn, and there's always more to embody. And even with my coaches and mentors that I really look up to, like I know that they are also learning. They are also, even as I see them on their journeys, I see that they are deepening in their wisdom, deepening in their love and their understanding. So we are always learning. So I feel like if somebody is reluctant to reach out to me, then they're not ready. Then I don't need to work with somebody who's not ready. I want to work with people who are ready, willing, and able to change, because that is the only way that people will get transformation. I'm not here to push or force anyone. It's like the thing is, I never really go after clients, because they need to come to me with an empowered energy, and they need to come and offer something, right? Because that's how they receive. You first give, then you receive. Like nothing in life is free. Even when people are praying, or when people make intentions or manifestation, there's always a level of giving first. I offer something. Even when people do worship, there is always an offering to the temple or to the deity or whatever. There's always this element of I give first, then I receive.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing in life is free, and just embracing that even the coaches and the mentors have their own coaches and
Yes.
mentors, and
Mm-hmm.
that no one is perfect. But when you can find someone who can really help you to see your blind spots and to elevate you to another level, it might be worth it to take that leap of faith and give it a try, because
Mm-hmm.
the risk is possibly worth the reward, which is
Yeah.
freedom and abundance
Yeah.
and joy
Yeah.
and clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the risk of taking that chance and taking that step is so infinitely less than the risk of staying in the same place for the rest of your life.
That's so true.
That is very scary. So
Yeah.
I think it's less scary to take the risk and do the thing than to stay in the same place.
I see that with many guys actually, that sometimes they are promised something when they sign up for a course or a program, and they get into this mindset of, well, if those promises are not necessarily fulfilled, then the coaching was not necessarily beneficial to them in their life.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, just taking that leap of faith and taking action on improving yourself, on bettering yourself, is
Mm-hmm.
already a sign that you are moving in the right direction. And you're
Yeah.
starting to bring more positive alignment into your reality, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
with work or with your relationships or your
Mm-hmm.
family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the spiritual development, in the spiritual world, any effort that you put towards your spiritual journey and your growth, your personal growth, your spiritual growth, is never lost. it's like a mountain that just builds up and builds up and builds up. And that effort, even if you don't see results immediately, eventually it will come back to you. Eventually it will pay off. So, I've been with mentors or with coaches that, I haven't seen the results that I maybe wished to had seen, but I know that it really progressed me, and it really, even in my energy, even in my mindset and my outlook on life, it expanded me. So any effort that we put in, however small or big, it's always going to bring results and progress and expand us.
So interesting. I definitely connect with this message. Now, I'd like to move over to the dating world for a minute.
Woo.
Yeah. It's a very complicated dating world these days, and it's a very wide spectrum. And I know you have your opinions of it, and I have mine, and our own exposure. And I remember seeing recently you making a comment about women's dating groups, which I know nothing about. So I was wondering if you would enlighten me on what is going on in these women's dating groups, and what is kind of the message that's coming across, and or maybe there's a few different narratives.
There are always many narratives. I think one of the key things that I've observed is, the concept of being high value, and how that's kind of maybe not understood fully, because a lot of women understand high value as, this split between Madonna and whore, the queen and the slut, right? So it's the high value relates to the queen, and the queen, the queen is the queen. She's the boss, right? She's got a whole kingdom to manage, and she's graceful and composed and, queenly. And so she's basically like the female dom. She's the dom. And so she has the rules, she has the standards, she has the requirements and boundaries and whatever. And so then the man needs to, if he wants to be in her presence, he needs to submit, he needs to be in submission. Nothing wrong with that. But there is just way too much focus on that, on how to be the queen, how to be the dom, and how to make the man do what you want him to do. So there is a lot of focus on that, a lot of focus on, what do I want as a woman, how can I implement standards and boundaries and rules so that the men in my life submit. And if that's what you want, that's what you want, fine. What I'm not seeing is the equal amount of attention and value to the other side. The whore or the slut, I call her the lover. She's the lover to me. It's like she's the one who just loves life. She adores everyone and everything. She takes pleasure in life. She's just in love with life, and so she's the sub, she's the one who submits. And so this is, like, there are obviously there's a whole spectrum of this, and any woman can find herself on different points of the spectrum, but the extreme opposite of that is she's the female sub. So she totally submits to the man and to the man's sense of time and sense of unfolding, and how he sees the relationship, how he wants the relationship. So there's that basically is the polarity of dom and sub. So what I'm seeing in the groups is it's kind of this balance. So it's, to me, being feminine is about embracing both sides, being a powerful dom and being a powerful sub as well. And I'm myself, I'm working on embodying both of these sides so that I can meet a man, meet and attract a man who's also, you know, both in his feminine and in his masculine balance, right? And yeah, so with regards to the dating groups, I feel like there is too much focus on just the one part of being feminine, just controlling, you know, controlling how I want my life to be, how I want the man in my life to show up. So it's not about like partnership, it's about me and what I want.
I
Yeah,
have
I think.
so much to ask you about this.
Yeah.
Let's stay on this. Let's stay on this topic for a second,
Uh-huh.
okay? Because I realize that there is, on one side of the men's dating world, okay, this push to be the ultimate man, all right?
Alpha.
Yeah, the alpha man, all right?
Mhm.
And then on, you're telling me on the dating, on the women's dating side, there is a push to be the ultimate woman, the
Alpha.
alpha
Mhm.
woman. And
Yeah,
so what it sounds to me like is there must be a clash there. And I experience it all the
big time.
time when I meet
Mhm.
someone and I realize that we both have a lot to provide to one another, but because we think we know what we want,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
maybe there is one or two or three characteristics about that other person that don't submit to our perception of what we want, we choose to either disregard them, disrespect them, okay, maybe sleep with them and then not talk to them again,
Mhm.
maybe not show them a lot of love, all right? And a lot of relationships are out of balance and
Mhm.
there's all this tension.
Mhm. Mhm.
So let me ask you this. What about you? What do you think is more controlling in your life right now? Your dominance or your submission, your submissiveness?
Well, I I'm a switch, right? So
Okay.
I'm more submissive. Like I'm with men, I'm submissive, and with women, I tend to be dominant. So in my relationships, I'm with men, I'm most usually just the feminine side. But with women, you know, especially also in my coaching, I tend to be the dom because this is just the dynamic. And yeah, yeah.
Now, when you're with a man and you're being submissive, but maybe he does something that you don't like, how can you speak up and be an, empowered, beautiful woman, still remain in that, feminine submissive role, but make sure that there's not um, any kind of manipulation or he's not being overly controlling of you.
Mm. If I don't like something, I just say it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And it's, you know, it's not like, oh, fuck you, you're doing this, I don't like it. It's just like, oh, well, that doesn't feel very good when this is happening or when you do this. You know, it's just, the thing is, if there's any emotional charge, I wouldn't go directly to the person, or, you know, I would ask if there is space for my charge to be heard, you know. But I tend to, you know, feel my own emotions and process my own emotions before I express something to somebody, because usually it's just, you know, it's just my own trigger. But sometimes, you know, sometimes the behavior of a person is also not like the highest. So yeah, there's a way to communicate without conflict and without war, right? So without blaming and without shaming and without making somebody the reason for my unhappiness, or the villain, you know, and making myself the victim. Yeah, just expressing it clearly and without too much emotional charge.
And what would you say
Yeah.
to the women out there who are a bit scared to embrace this submissive side, and maybe they've been slut shamed in the past? I know this is a big one in the world these days, where women might feel like letting go and really being sexually open is a vulnerability that they're not willing to take because they want to be in control.
Mm. I feel like trust is very important for submission. So a woman, you know, a woman needs to trust in order to submit, in order to, like, every woman has this like flower of surrender in her, this flower of submission, you know, you might call that. But that flower needs trust, and it needs safety to flourish, to open up. So I would say submission is scary. You know, submission is scary. It's one of the most scary things, especially for the queen, for the one who's in control, for the one who's, you know, bossing it in life, and who's in charge of all areas of life. And she then tries to be also in control of the man. But not all men will be ready to submit to her. You know, some men, they are really self-focused, and sometimes these like control freak women, they tend to attract men who are just not willing ever to be controlled, right? So then she has to learn submission. And sometimes in those settings, you know, there's not a lot of trust. Like, I've been in a relationship like that, and you know, he like triggered a lot of stuff for me, a lot, you know, a lot of like insecurities, a lot of fears, a lot of this and that. And there wasn't a lot of trust in that relationship. And um I still aimed and learned to submit and to surrender to what he wants, you know, because to me that was, I wasn't submitting to him. I was submitting. I was learning and experiencing my submission. So it's not, you know, it's not about necessarily the other person. It's about what you want to experience yourself as. But I would recommend to do it with someone who's, you know, who's trustworthy and makes you feel safe, because doing it with someone who's kind of dangerous, you know, it can end up in a lot of hurt and a lot of re-traumatizing if you don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing. If you have guidance, you know, if you want to go for that kind of hardcore life school, okay, you know. But I
So
think guidance.
I think the next thing that the viewers want to know is, well, how can a woman find the kind of guy who's going to let her, you know, find this space where she can submit and feel safe and feel comfortable and feel secure? And what do men need to do to get to that place, and to do it not from a place of manipulation, but because they really want their woman to feel safe and secure and to let that feminine energy out?
Well, for women, I would say practice being in your feminine, practice being in the lover archetype, you know,
Mm-hmm.
practice feeling pleasure and feeling joy and feeling good, and practice relinquishing control over like everything, and micromanaging, and being stressed, and being in tension, and being all the time in the masculine energy. So it will just naturally attract men. When you are in your feminine, in the feminine energy, the feminine polarity, that will naturally attract somebody who is in their masculine polarity. That's just energetics. But women who are trying to attract somebody, you know, that's already an action forward. That's already the masculine. I'm trying to do something, right? And the feminine would just relax, and she would just enjoy herself. She would just enjoy life and not even care about whatever, if the man is coming or not coming. She's just loving life, right? And that's when men will see her joy, and will see her like magnetism. Because when a woman is happy, pleased, relaxed, then she's magnetic, then she's like visible. Yeah.
This is obviously not an easy subject for men and women to necessarily master, especially with the forces going on around us in the society, where I think that men are becoming a bit more feminine in a way. And so then there's this push to make them alpha, to make them dominant, to make them masculine. And then women are becoming a little bit more masculine, and kind of having more purpose, and, you know, supporting their families as well. Okay. And they're losing sight of the balance that could theoretically exist, which creates some sparks that might be missing. Definitely something that, you know, many people could learn more about from both you and I. Now, what about when it comes to meeting men? Do you like meeting men in public, online, through friends? What's usually the best way, or do all of them work?
um I don't really mind. I don't have a preference really.
Okay. But why do you think
Online.
why do you think some women then are reluctant to meet men in a natural setting?
What's a natural setting?
Let's say on the street,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or on a bus, or
Mm-hmm.
what do you think might be holding a woman back from
Okay,
meeting a stranger like that?
right. Because, well, if she is in a natural setting, she's in a certain type of mindset. She's like, okay, I've got this to do, that to do. Okay, I'm going here, I'm going there, and she's not really in that open, receptive space where she can receive somebody. Where she's, unless that's her intention, and unless she goes out and, you know, she just loving life, and, you know, being to attention, and people and men and whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't, I would assume, you know, where she's just got a lot of stuff to do and a lot of things, and she doesn't really want to be disturbed, you know. And the thing is with this, you know, it's like, when in my worldview, the woman chooses the man, the feminine chooses the masculine. So if a woman is attracted to you, you will know. You will know, unless she's not aware herself. But yeah, it's usually the feminine that chooses someone, and then the masculine responds and comes towards her, you know. So she's okay. Imagine I see a guy that I like, right? So I would just smile, and I would just make it obvious, you know, that hey, I like you. But I'm sometimes I might go towards him, but usually I will just, you know, make it obvious, and you know, maybe look at him, give him a smile, like be really open and inviting, and then he can come towards me, right? But if somebody comes towards me that I I haven't chosen, I haven't invited, I probably wouldn't be open to receiving him. You know, I can have a little conversation and I can just entertain for a moment, but if I'm not naturally choosing somebody, then, you know, his intentions don't matter. They just don't matter because I haven't invited that. And with women, yeah, what tends to happen is that women are either not inviting the men who approach them, or they are like subconsciously inviting them, but they don't realize that, they don't really realize. And then, you know, they kind of like pull them and then push them away. You know, this pull push thing.
Oh, I've
And
felt
that's
that before, where, you know, maybe a woman is giving me an energy which seems
yeah,
open, and
yeah,
I might go and talk to her, and I
uh-huh,
realize she's actually closed and is not interested in me whatsoever. And I'm
yeah,
thinking, that's interesting, because I really thought you were giving me off this vibe or this
exactly,
energy.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
vice versa, many times has happened to me before, where I felt like the woman was not giving me any sign whatsoever that she was interested, but for some reason I still went and took action, and you know, said hello and went to meet that
uh-huh,
person.
uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden they dropped their facade and they dropped whatever was holding them back, and we were able to
Oh,
create a bond and start to
interesting.
connect on a deeper level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice.
It's just interesting that our subcommunication towards the opposite sex is not necessarily indicative of what we really want in that
Mm.
moment.
Mm.
And it might be due to the fact that we're just not 100% of aware how we're coming off to another
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Okay, we think that, you know, we are just going about our day, and you know, oh, I'm just looking at that person because they're walking past, and actually you're giving off this energy which is like, approach me, please, I'd like to get to know you. And
Mm-hmm.
then at other times you're walking around with your head down, with your headphones in. And this is a very common one these days, because not very often do you find people who are not on their phone, listening to some kind of music, talking to someone, okay, becoming completely distracted. And then it's not this open, inviting energy. And I'm wondering, what do you tell, you know, the women that you work with that they could do to invite men into their life, especially the men that they really like?
Okay. Well, the women that I work with, we work on different things.
Yeah.
But what I would say to women is to be um, more in the lover energy. You know, the lover who's just, she's just like honey. You know, she's just so sweet and cute and adorable, and she's just attractive. You know, just make herself a little pretty, put some makeup, dress beautiful. You know, put on some perfume, and that will make you feel more attractive. You know, the woman, right? And that will be attractive. You know, if you want to attract somebody, be attractive.
Sounds pretty simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it is, you know, it's just practicing that, because well, it's not very inspiring, you know, if somebody is moody and grumpy and you know, like closed off. If
So yeah, what are the most attractive traits that a man could provide to a woman, you think, in your opinion?
you know, there are many,
Mm-hmm.
and different qualities I'm attracted to in different men. So it's hard to just say like a couple of qualities. Like I think confidence, like whatever you do, whoever you are, just being confident about that and just owning who you are, that's eternal, and being truthful and authentic with where you are. And I think having a sense of purpose as well, it's a very masculine trait, having a sense of purpose and a goal that I'm working towards, that that indicates someone who has masculine energy. So if somebody has that, that's attractive, because I'm a feminine woman, so I like masculine men. I like men who have like masculine potency. So it depends like who you want to attract, right? If you want to attract beautiful feminine women, then you work on your masculinity and work on how to become more masculine and more potent.
Have you ever lied to a guy and told him that you had a boyfriend, or that, there was some reason that wasn't necessarily 100% the truth as to why you didn't want to meet him or see him again?
Probably in the past, yeah. In the past I may have done. Yeah. But nowadays,
why do women do this, you think?
They're scared, they're afraid. It's fear. It's fear of losing love, losing the attention, fear of being hurt even,
Or hurting someone else.
Yes, that's a big one. Yeah, so often, women will think of the guy's feelings rather than her own. So they will lie and make excuses just to not make him feel bad. But for me, it's like I think honesty is the best policy. So if somebody approaches me and they want to, I don't know, whatever, but I'm not feeling it, I just say, I'm not interested in a romantic connection with you. But if you like, we can hang out as friends and whatever. But then usually they're not interested.
And what if they say, okay, let's hang out as friends? Then does that kind of throw you off guard? Okay, or do you actually mean it? And do you actually want to get to know them as friends?
I would say it only if I meant it. If I didn't mean it, then I would say, no, sorry, I'm just not interested. But good luck in your set.
And if a man approached you and he said that he wasn't interested in necessarily a relationship or a sexual relationship, but he just wanted to be friends with you, would you believe him?
If what he was saying was truth, and if I felt it was true, yeah. But if I felt there's like it's a way to get in, no. But I think it's easy to tell when somebody is dishonest.
Do you have men who are your friends?
Yeah. Some of, like I said in the beginning, like I have a really good friend who's, he really sees me, and he delivers truth like a freaking sword. It's painful, but I love it. Yeah, I have several male friends.
This is a big one that I think can actually hold both men and women back from really connecting with the opposite sex, is when they view them just as someone that they can be in some kind of emotional or physical relationship with, rather than also seeing the opportunity to connect with someone just on a basic friendly level, and to really support them and really be there for them.
And I feel like friendship is an emotional connection, is a loving connection. It's a heart connection, and I feel like men and women, we need each other, and there is so much value that a woman can bring to a man's life without sex, and it's the same for men. It's just the insight and the clarity and the perspective of men. I love. I don't, and like I know a lot of men. Like I just couldn't possibly have sex with all of them. So so I just appreciate the exchange, the conversation, and and what we share. That's so valuable as well. It's not sex is great, but I mean there's just so much more value that we all hold.
All right, I've got just a few more questions before we end up today.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them is, what is your best advice for a woman or a man to completely let go of whatever is holding them back in their life?
Okay. Okay, so my advice would be to trust that without that thing that you're wanting to let go of, that you're still whole and complete, and that letting go of that thing, or whatever it is, will not make you any less, and that you remain whole and full, and probably even better. Because I feel like the fear of letting go is, if I let this go, then I'm letting go a part of myself, and I'm losing something, right? And it's not about loss, it's about gaining who you are. And I mean, yeah, it is losing, but it's like losing dead weight.
Oh, that monkey on your back.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful answer. Okay, two more for you.
Uh-huh.
So,
Are these the
what,
surprise questions? I like them.
these are the surprise questions. Okay, what's your best advice? Um, I'm sorry, what's the most common excuse women use to stay in their comfort zone? And how can men help women break free from their comfort zone?
I think that would be, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. I don't know.
Oh, if I'm ready for it, if I like you.
Ooh. Oh, that's a. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, is this relating to dating or just in general?
Well, I believe that relationships, carry over into all walks of life,
Uh-huh.
but we can take it a dating route if you'd like.
Um, sure. Well, I was thinking more in general, like
Okay.
the women that I work with, especially when it relates to their purpose and what they are meant to do here. A lot of times I hear, I don't know how to do this. Like, this is not me. I haven't learned that. And I'm just like, well, then you learn it, that you just learn it. Like, if you don't know, you just learn how to know. You learn how to do it, because we are here to be, all of us. I've just made a post actually on Instagram about people using the excuse of I'm an introvert, to stop themselves from doing stuff, from
Oh,
being, right. And like I'm an introvert, but
yeah. I used to be an introvert, very introverted.
right, yeah, and like we here
Can you
online.
tell?
Same. And it's not an excuse,
Oh,
it's if you have a lack of communication skills or social skills, you just learn, you study, you learn books, you go out and practice, you just learn. We're not here to be limited by our mindset or astrology or this design or whatever, or this system of understanding, that system is it. We are meant to be all, and most of the times we are meant to be that which are we not yet. So we are meant to embrace and embody that which doesn't come naturally to us. And that what does come naturally to us, we're meant to teach that.
mm.
So if somebody says, oh, but I don't know how to sell and I don't know how to talk to people because I'm an introvert, then I just say, well, then you just have to study that and you have to learn that, because if you don't know, like it's very unlikely that it's just going to dawn on you one day. Like you kind of have to make an effort to learn that, and it's the same with everything.
All
You
right,
know,
but
if
what about if, now this is a curveball, but what if she
oh,
says, I've only had bad sexual experiences in the past, so
mm,
I don't know if I want to do that or if I'm ready for that. So I'm scared.
well, then get you a dildo and start practicing.
Oh, things just got a little steamy.
That's the thing. Like you have to know yourself. You have to know your own sexual response, and you have to like figure out what makes you feel good. How do I bring myself to orgasm? And it's like once you learn that, then it's easier for you to have positive sexual experiences with men, because it, nobody is responsible for your pleasure. Nobody is responsible for your orgasm. Like it's your own responsibility as a woman and as a man.
Do
Obviously
you
we.
really think that? Because I've heard this, this kind of perception that it's not the man's job to make the woman come. When I think that there is definitely a lot of things that the man could do wrong, which will not enable the woman to really let go and to really, experience that ecstatic state. So if we're just going to push all the pressure on the man or all the pressure on the woman to just completely let go, then how are we going to get to that state of orgasm?
The thing is, it's a dance.
Yeah.
It's a dance, and both parties have to do their part. And if me as a woman say, oh, I just all men suck. They don't know what they're doing, and I don't even know how to bring myself to orgasm. Like that's not really fair. So everyone has to do their part. A woman cannot just sit and complain that women are no good. It's like we all have to learn, we all have to grow, and we all have to um, practice the things that are not within our sphere of expertise and that which we want to experience. So if a woman wants to have amazing sex with men, you have to learn about sex. You have to learn about whatever tools, techniques, how to let go, how to whatever, or just. But it's not. Yeah, it's not all on the man, and it's also not all on the woman. But instead of complaining about past or about
Yeah.
men or about whatever, like start using that energy to learn.
Mm, I love that. I really love that answer. And I don't know how many women are listening to this podcast because, it's usually for men, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure so many women could really benefit from that advice as well. Now,
Okay.
just a final question, which I asked my guests, which is, how would you like your business and dating life to evolve over the next year to bring peace and abundance in both areas of your life?
The thing is, like, my life is pretty great. So
Amazing. Is there a way it can get any better, or are you just like completely content with the way it is right now?
I'm pretty content. However, yeah, it can grow. It can definitely grow. Yeah, although I'm happy, but I know that it's meant to grow, and it is going to grow. And lately, I've just like you said, I've been just very overwhelmed by the enormity of what I'm seeing and enormity of my vision and what I'm kind of embarking upon, because I've just started the work with Self Love Army, and
Mm-hmm.
the whole 2 million lives changed in 2 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's so huge. It's really huge, and
Amen.
yeah. So I was a little bit overwhelmed by that, but I feel like it's just going to come, because everything that's meant for me will happen. And I've been like in this thing of pushing and trying to force and make things happen, there's just no need. There's all the time in the world, and I know that everything that's meant to happen will happen, and it's coming. So I can sit back also and relax. You know, I can do everything that I need to do, but also, okay, enjoy life a little bit. You're here to actually be happy, and this is the only way that I can help people, by being in my power, by being happy, by being joyful.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that you could really help. So if they want to reach out and work with you, where can they find you, Roksana?
Well, my website is roksanabrzostek.com, but I'm not sure if people will be able to spell that.
All right, let's spell it for them real quick.
Roksana, ROKSANA BRZOSTEK.com.
Okay.
And on I can be found on Facebook and Instagram as roksana.intuitive.
Roksana.intuitive. I like that. Well, this has been a very intuitive interview. And I really enjoyed your energy. And I know that you're going in an amazing direction. You know, just learning about really how women feel, and also what's going on in the women's dating world was super interesting to me, as I'm sure it will be for many men out there as well. Just to have that clarity. And thank you guys so much for listening. And if you want to evolve your business and dating life, you know where to find me, David S. Goldstein on Facebook or Instagram. You can go check out my website, Dave Gold Evolve. And if you connect with my message, feel free to book a call and we can get to know each other. And thank you so much for listening. If you guys enjoyed this episode, feel free to like, share, and comment what you learned. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.